Welcome to another exciting event coverage by Financial Insight. My name is Mwaloch Vesakunda, and I'm the founder of Financial Insight, and I am in Kitwe with somebody very, very special. It's been months in the making, and the European Union has finally made landfall in Kitwe, Zambia, for a fantastic event. To tell me a little bit more about that is none other than the Ambassador, Karolina Staszak, of the European Union, who is the lead or head of the delegation that will be at this particular event. Karolina, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Ambassador, it's so fantastic to finally get to engage with you. This morning was a very busy one. We visited Copperbelt University, and we learned that, there's been a lot of work that you've been doing there, but more so today, we saw, your team actually assemble various captains of industry to talk about different aspects of employment and encouraging of students in terms of job seeking. Tell us a little bit about why this was so important for the European Union to be a part of.
Thank you so much. Yes, so this morning we were at the Copperbelt University for an inspirational business career fair to help link a little bit more business and academia, so university, to provide an opportunity for the students at the Copperbelt University to have an interaction with the different business sectors. So we have gathered representatives of different sectors of the Zambian economy, some of them businesses which are part of the EU-Zambia Business Club, so European companies or companies that trade on the European market, but also Zambian companies, to explain the opportunities that exist on the job market to the last year students of CBU as they start, looking for jobs and looking out for careers. To give also some inspiration, we had alumni from the CBU among the speakers, and there was a lot of cheering and clapping students saw a lot of opportunities, and they saw inspiration in these people who today lead successful careers, and they could envision this for themselves as well. So it was important for the EU to be there. We came to Kitwe in preparation of this forum, of the forum that we will be talking about in March, and we interacted with a group of students, and we thought, okay, this would be very useful to bring some representatives from the business community to the students so that they can share, and also for the businesses, they are looking also for young talent and for graduates of university. So I thought the European Union could be this link, or could facilitate that link, considering that the youth is Zambia's future. Our global future belongs to the youth, and Zambia is composed in 70% of people below 30. So this is a target group that we cannot miss out on, and we thought it was important to engage and to facilitate this contact.
Wonderful. And obviously, like you've indicated, well, part of the reason why we're here today is that today is the day before a very big event. The European Union, which you're obviously heading for Zambia, has been preparing for a business forum, and it's centered around mining. According to this, it's talking about growing the copper industry in Zambia through green value chains. Tell us a little bit about why this event is so important, and obviously conveniently it's being held on the Copper Belt. What is the main objective, and what are you hoping to achieve by bringing captains of industry in the mining sector, as well as the participants that will be taking part in this event?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's the final countdown before our business forum that starts tomorrow. That will be here until the 12th of April. An important event as part of a new partnership that the European Union and Zambia have agreed on in October 2023. We signed a memorandum of understanding on sustainable critical raw materials partnership. So we are partnering with a country which is like-minded, which has abides by the same universal values of democracy, human development, and also beneficiating the local communities through opportunities in the business sector. The forum that we are organizing is one of the concrete steps during the first milestones. So the Business Forum is the first concrete milestone under this partnership of the European Union and Zambia in the sustainable critical raw materials. And it is important as our focus is on value addition locally, on beneficiating the local communities, on boosting the production, but also on working along the value chain. So not only exploration and extraction, but also adding value, creating jobs locally, building skills, bringing technological advancement as well to the sector. So we have had a lot of interest from companies, European companies, but also Zambian companies and companies from the region to come here to Zambia to explore opportunities that are here in this particular region in Kitwe and around the Copperbelt region. In this copper sector, we have about 300 participants coming to the forum, including more than 50 European companies that bring, value in terms of skills, technological development, but also interest in partnering with Zambian companies. There will be sessions where we will have business-to-business engagement, where companies can exchange, compare notes, and bring value to each other. So the idea is really to bring interlocutors from many different sectors to Zambia to create this conversation and maybe spark off some concrete opportunities and investments here in Zambia.
Right, and obviously you have been engaging with the Zambian government. Are we expecting any high-level delegates to come from government to be a part of this?
Absolutely. So we have organized this event hand in hand with the government of Zambia, and I'm happy to announce that His Excellency the President Hakainde Hichilema will be our guest of honor here tomorrow. We have also the participation of 3 ministers: Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, and Minister of Green Economy and Environment, joining the forum, as well as several Zambian agencies, so development agency and different business associations of the Zambian industry. So we are really working closely together on this event with the Zambian government, and we are very happy that they are so committed and to be sending the highest level delegation here to Kitwe. Absolutely.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The European Union will be hosting an event in Kitwe at the Garden Court Hotel. His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, President of Zambia, will be present to officiate. So stay tuned for insights from this particular year's event. And Ambassador, we wish you well and wish you for a successful business forum.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
So stay tuned for insights and get to know. Hi everyone, we're on day 3 at the EU-Zambia Business Forum, where with me to talk about how this particular event has been going is Chivesa from Prospero. Chivesa, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's always exciting whenever we bump into you guys at events. I think the last one was Mining in Dava and also COP28 last year in Dubai. But yeah, now we have this EU Business Forum, which is focused on mining. Are you able to tell us why Prospero is taking part in this particular one? Are there any mining interests that you guys have?
Yes, really I think mining is one of the key focus areas where we have had developed interventions and initiatives in the past, and really it really aligns with some of the discussions that have been held for the past 2 days, and I think some of the key areas that have been talked about have been echoed by not only the president but the ministers, have been some of the things that we have been championing in the past. We've had initiatives around local content, supporting companies that are supplying the mines, for example, and really for those such initiatives, we've really been supporting SMEs that are doing manufacturing and supplying into the mines, but even those that have been providing services. Really, our angle there has been always the entry point with the SME, because obviously some of the key challenges that the SMEs have been facing things to do with whether it's financing, the limited financing, or the constraint of it being accessible, but also you find that there are other issues around capacity within themselves, having that access to finance, their capacities to actually manage some of these big contracts. So one of the things that we've done in the past is supporting initiatives that will provide some sort of whether it's import substitution initiatives, where a company comes to us and say, look, I've actually got a business opportunity in the mine because but then I do not have the right equipment. So you find that we would then come in and co-finance the purchase of such technology that would make them not only provide these products with the right quality, but then even the turnaround, which is one of the key elements that you find that the mines would actually be looking at. So we've done quite a lot in the past, I think even up to from 2014, since our interventions have been around whether it's the mining sector, the food and agriculture. We've had quite a number of interventions that really support private sector development in this space. So really for us, it's seeing that now we have another opportunity with some of the pledges in investment, but also the demand, which now brings other opportunities for SMEs to now really engage. So now, if you've seen most of the SMEs that have been crying out is, yes, there's this opportunity, but how are we then going to reach, or at least from some of the opportunities that have been laid, how do we then engage? So really for us, it's developing initiatives that really trying to solve some of these constraints that are really impeding these SMEs to actually grow. So whether it's financing, it's capacity building with their operations, whether it's internal operations, whether it's financial management, it's a whole lot of other things, as well as the technical side, but also getting companies ready for investment.
Absolutely. Now, what's obviously been very interesting at this particular year's EU Business Forum is that there's a lot of talk about
If there is one person who was special to this occasion, it will be Madam Rosetta Chawela, who I'm sitting with here, and she has been the master of ceremony today. Welcome to this interview, Madam Chawela.
Thank you very much. Not necessarily master of ceremony, at least was called moderator.
Aha, okay. Okay, so moderator, ladies and gentlemen, there you are. So a fantastic day today, day one of this conference, the EU-Zambia Business Forum. What are the key takeaways for you today?
Well, quite a number. Remember, we've done this study for over 9 months now. And we've gone to the industry and we've consulted widely, from the mining entities to the manufacturers and those that want to do a little bit of secular activities around the mining sector. And so the session today, this afternoon, just then brought all that to the fore in terms of what Zambia should be focusing on, in terms of what issues we should resolve for us to actually get our aspirations. We've got obviously a few aspirations. The first one is to reach the 3 million target production of copper. The second one is to add value to our copper increasingly, so that we can then beneficiate most of that copper that we have in this country before we can actually send it out.
And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that beneficiation. It's a word I keep hearing over and over again. So
yes,
please proceed.
Yes, of course. and so the session today, basically the main takeaways is, look, we cannot do it without energy. We cannot do it without skills. We cannot do it without capital. And so all those three things are things that the panelists actually pointed out to ensure that if all those were touched and tackled in a manner that allows then production to be ramped up, then maybe we'll be close to achieving our goal.
Absolutely. And obviously, the president gave a phenomenal speech today. Everybody who attended the speech session with the president has come up with very high praise for him.
Yeah.
What were the key takeaways for you from what the president had to share with this conference?
Well, he also was very direct and very deliberate in the way he delivered today's speech. And he was very categorical. He also repeated the fact that we obviously aspire to add value. He also said and emphasized on the need for joint ventures, for example, a message that we have been yearning to hear. Because many a times you hear, come and invest in Zambia, we've got this and we've got that. But I think the narrative is changing to say we've got actually people who are local investors, who may have a gap here and there, so come and work with them so that we can then scale up their businesses and ideas already that are local ideas. And that was very important to deliver from the presidential perspective, to say we want the people of Zambia to participate.
Absolutely.
We do not want this so-called beneficiation to just be all foreign. People come, they add value and they take out. We want most of that value to also remain, and that will only happen in the partnerships.
Absolutely.
Of course, it will happen in the job creation, but we want Zambians to have a bigger stake, a bigger say, and a bigger negotiating power in this process. I think that was very key.
Indeed. For me, specifically, it's about technology and making sure it's the high-level technology, cutting-edge, state-of-the-art. And it's been interesting to see that there's some foreign universities that are coming and bringing that knowledge into Zambia in order to create opportunities for this buzzword again, beneficiation. So can you articulate what that means to the Zambian people, or what it should mean? What should beneficiation look like for the ordinary Zambian out there?
So maybe to just put it into perspective and getting maybe 2022 numbers where we produced 800,000 tons of copper in this country.
Indeed.
Out of that, only about 350,000 tons of copper was added value to at the level of copper cathode. The rest of it went below cathode. And out of the 350,000 tons of cathode, we only added more value to like 15,000 tons of copper, which is less than 5% of the total cathode produced in this country, to a standard that obviously you would put it in one cable. But if you look at the overall ore that was extracted from the ground, it's less than 2%. So really 60 years down the line, should we actually be adding value to 2% of copper in this country? So this song of beneficiation basically is about how much more value can we get. And how much more value you can get is only when you go downstream.
So the future is bright, because obviously copper is not the only thing that Zambia mines. We've got cobalt, we've got all sorts of other minerals, emeralds, etc., precious stones. So the base is quite wide in terms of the possibilities out there. Okay, let's tone it down a little. So this was day one, and tomorrow is another hot day. What activities are you involved in tomorrow?
So tomorrow we then now present the report from the consultants. So the first session actually is in parallel, and basically is focusing on parts of the reports. So we will then have one session that will focus on the upstream, and when I say upstream, I mean just the mining sector.
Digging
And the level at
smelting.
which, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then we'll have another session that will look at circular economy, and there's some like 6 opportunities that we have actually identified.
What does that mean, circular economy?
So it's both recycling and also trying to obviously reduce some waste.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, the mines have dumps, they've got tailings, they've got all those. Can somebody actually go back in there and recycle those things and extract copper and bring it back into production of cathode, for example, which you can then use for the downstream industry.
So those are the discussions?
Those are the discussions that are going to happen, and the third one is going to be downstream, which is basically the manufacturing.
Okay.
So very interesting parallel sessions. I will be involved in the manufacturing one.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then of course on day 3, I'm told that there will be site visits. Are you actually visiting any sites yourself?
Yes, I'll be leading the group that is going to go to the manufacturers. So we will start with Jubilee Metals giving a presentation right here to all the delegates before they leave for their field visits. And then we will take the manufacturers, those who are interested in the manufacturing subject, we will take them to Zambian in Wansha so that they can see the plant, they can see what we're doing right now, and then we'll also take them to Neocamp in Masaiti.
Indeed. So it's been a busy day and looks like it's going to be a busy week for you.
It's a busy week. It's a busy week.
But it's been such a pleasure talking to you, Madam Shavala. Always a pleasure. And we look forward to more sessions like this with you again in the future. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Clarence, and thank you for having me here.
Hello everybody, my name is Clarence Chongo, representing Financial Insight. We are here in Kitwe at Garden Court Hotel, and it's the EU-Zambia Business Forum. It's a conference of 2 days plus a site visit for the 3rd day, and this is day 1. Ladies and gentlemen, the person that's sitting next to me requires no introduction. But for those who don't believe me, this is Mr. Albert Halwampa, and he is the Director General of Zambia Development Agency. Welcome to this program, Mr. Halwampa.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so delighted to be able to share some insights regarding the copper green value chains.
Indeed. And it's been a busy day, lots of speeches and discussion forums. How do you characterize today? What are your key takeaways from what's happened so far at this conference?
Well, I think the conference has been very, very successful. Of course, officially opened by His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia. I think, in my view, who gave a very strong message on how we should proceed in taking advantage of the endowments from Zambia vis-à-vis the copper and other critical minerals, to be able to go into joint ventures, partnerships with the European companies or the rest of the world, to be able to source capital, technology and skills from Europe. So this was a very successful forum. I think, in my view, also the other discussions that went on, presentations and then also panel discussions, just to digress on this matter, which is very, very important for Zambia, given that we want to go to 3 million tons of copper in the next 8 years. So it's very important that extra 2.2 million tons thereabout, we add value, we make sure that Zambian people are participating, we create jobs, we create value to the GDP. So very, very important forum, and I think the beginning has been very fantastic.
Indeed. So, being obviously the Zambia Development Agency, I can imagine that you've got quite a big role to play in all these collaborative efforts and joint venture sort of discussions that are taking place. How can you articulate what your role is in this very important developments?
Well, thank you very much. As you might already be aware, our role as Zambia Development Agency is to make sure that we promote investment, we promote trade, promote business development, bring in foreign direct investment, also promote domestic investments for Zambians like you also to begin to invest in your country. So we ensure that given our endowments, whether it's copper, agriculture, energy, and specifically talking about copper today, we need to ensure that we profile projects along the copper value chains and be able to sell these projects, bankable projects, to foreign investors who will be able to come into the country and partner with Zambians so that together, like the President stressed, we can develop these value chains. As you are aware, the whole world is racing towards net zero. The European Union have got a strategy to make sure that by the year 2050, they are carbon neutral and moving away from fossil fuels, meaning that the copper and critical minerals in this country will play a very, very important role. And that's why we've gone ahead as a country to make sure that we sign bilateral agreement, for example, with DRC, combined Zambia and DRC, we are the largest producers of copper in the world. So taking advantage of these endowments, creating special economic zones so that we begin producing EV batteries, accessories, and going further downstream to negotiate the assembly of motor vehicles in this country.
So the conference program ends on Friday with some site visits. Are you visiting any specific sites yourself?
Yes, of course, ZDA will be there. We cut across very important institution for the country.
Yeah.
This is the institution that drives trade and investment. And we are here to make sure that we take stock of the leads, of the deals and transactions that may arise out of this conference. And we'll go all the way to make sure that our colleagues from Europe who have dedicated their time and resources, showing interest in investing in Zambia, flying all the way thousands of kilometers, we are with them all the way so that they show that it's not just the private sector that is interested in working with them, but also government institutions like ZDA, because at the end of the day, we are the institution that hand-holds the investors across sectors, even copper, green value chains. So we'll be there all the way at the end of this conference because it's very important for us. This is a critical forum. It's not business as usual. So we'll be there all the way.
And on that positive note, it falls upon me to thank you for being with us today on this interview with Financial Insight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Director General of the Zambia Development Agency. I thank you, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure.
My name is Clarence Chongo. This is Financial Insight. And as I always say, get to know.